I love that song because it so encapsulates what we believe, that it all starts with us. We don't have the luxury to point our finger and blame anybody who's not doing what we think they should be doing. We don't have the luxury to look outside of ourselves and expect the outside world to determine who we are. We determine what our outside world is, and if we want to change that, we've got to change ourselves.
Right.
That's what Science of Mind is all about. That's why they think we're crazy. Because we say that's not real. That the only thing that's real is what's going on inside of ourselves. It only means what you make it mean. It's only real if you make it real. And in that, we create our outer reality. So remember that. If perhaps you're tempted in these upcoming days or hours to engage in any kind of judgment or any kind of gossip that may have to do with any kind of current events, remember that every newscast is a prayer request. And that anything that anyone says about anything is simply a statement of who they are. So remember that as you live your life, that whatever comes out of your mouth, even if you are pretending it's about someone else, is only about you. People go, "Oh, that wasn't as much fun as the song." But it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. So my talk today is about perfect health. And that comes from our increased income program at the prosperity class, where it says, I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. So we're going to start off by talking about perfect health, because prosperity is not about money. It includes money, but it is not limited to money. And if you don't have any money, you're not prosperous. Don't kid yourself. Living on credit cards is not prosperity. Going into debt is not prosperity, but it is not limited to money. It's a part of it. It includes perfect health. And that's not just health about your body. That's health about the body of your affairs. It's perfect health in your relationships, perfect health in your job, perfect health in your family, perfect health in your car, perfect health. Health and wholeness and balance in all areas of your life is a part of prosperity. It's not the only part of prosperity. It is a part of prosperity. And so when we look at this idea of perfect, and if John was here, he would just be on me because he doesn't like the word perfect. I don't know how anyone could not like the word perfect. It's a perfect word. He says, well, a perfect reflection of consciousness can be anything. A problem is a perfect problem. Okay, but we're not talking about perfect problems. We're talking about perfect health. So perfect, without flaw, without needing anything. Perfect, whole, and complete, and health. That state of natural wholeness, of vitality, of energy, of clarity, that we so often focus on our physical experience. And health includes, but is not limited to, our physical bodies. But I love this idea of perfect health in our physical bodies. This teaching was created on physical healings. It wasn't about get your perfect relationship. Emma Curtis Hopkins did not go to spiritual speed dating. Now, she might have if she had had the opportunity, but she didn't. People in metaphysics did not come into metaphysics to have a lot of money. They came into metaphysics when the doctors had told them they were going to die. And some people still do that. If all else fails, try God. But the teaching was based on physical healings. And it wasn't even based on physical healings because Ernest says there's nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed. It was based on a coming back, a coming home, if you will, to the natural state of health and wholeness that resides inside of each cell in everyone's physical body. You can't chase health away. You can't. Inside of everyone's physical body is a health and a wholeness that cannot be denied, and given half a chance, it will reemerge and create the outer experience of physical health that has always been there. Any doctor worth their salt will tell you that they don't heal. They remove the obstacles to the natural healing of the body. They don't heal. They get rid of that which is making someone sick. And what is that? In mental science, we say, well, that which makes you sick is your head. It's your stinking thinking that makes you sick. Thought will create illness, but it cannot eradicate health and wholeness. The health and wholeness is always there, just waiting for us. But our thinking can make us sick. Let's see if I want to look at any quotes before I just jump into what I want to talk about. Disease is an experience. It doesn't belong to you. What you turn to, you turn into. Wayne Dyer said, there is no excuse for not forgiving. There's never an excuse for not forgiving. Wayne Dyer, one who took most of his stuff from Science of Mind, but he's done well with it. And not too long ago, he was diagnosed with some ABCD disease that was supposed to kill him, and gosh, you know, they can't find that disease in his body anymore because there's no excuse for not forgiving. What you turn to, you turn into. And if you change your thinking, you'll change your life. I love the history of this teaching. More recently, all the work that Louise Hay did. Louise Hay kicked into high gear when AIDS jumped up in this country. And what they found in just doing some research on this talk, what they found is that there seems to be a psychological component specific to the disease of AIDS. And what they found is that that's a lack of self-worth. And I was looking at that culturally and thinking, well, my gosh, as a culture, we have dumped all of this negativity on people. Why? Because they love. Because they love who they love. And finally, we are healing and growing as a culture, and we're saying, okay, it's okay that you love. You know, and what is sexuality anyway? It's just a small part of a person. There's this whole big, beautiful being who happens to do ABC. So what? They love who they love. They're perfect, whole, and complete just the way they are. And the main affirmation that Louise Hay ever gave anybody was, I love myself the way I am. Remember the song, I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me, nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can because I love myself just the way I am. And when people who chose, for whatever reason, to incarnate on this planet and receive all of that garbage from society that got dumped on them so they could rise above and love themselves just the way that they are, chose to do that, their bodies healed. Their bodies healed. I was looking at what's going on with AIDS in the world today. I checked out the World AIDS Day report from December of 2012, and they went on a compare and contrast for the last 10 years. Do you know that in 2011 there were 700,000 less diagnoses of AIDS than in 2001? 700,000 less. Why is that? It's because we have opened up to this idea that says people don't have to be sick because they love. That people don't have to be punished for who they are. It's that thing about looking at the man in the mirror. We don't look at someone and say, there's anything wrong with you. We look at people and say, there's God as you. You're a light being. You are a powerful being. You bit off a lot in this life, granted, so did we all. But you are light and love and perfect beauty just the way you are. And people heal. They heal. And so we say there's nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed, because the truth of the presence of God within each one of us allows that physical healing to take place. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. Last week, in addition to deciding that our children should come to the center on a love offering basis, I had this mission statement just pour out of me. And I know that it's real because I didn't have to write it down. And every time I think about it, I remember it. The mission of this center is to use the teachings of Science of Mind to experience our oneness of spirit and create a better life for ourselves and our world. Period. End of story. That's what we do. We use science of mind to connect, to experience our oneness, our wholeness, our perfection, our love, our light. And in doing that, we create a better life. And in creating a better life for ourselves, we create a better life for our world. How many people have had their lives get better since they came to this center? Wonderful. I have an exercise for you. When someone says, "How are you?" your answer is, "Great, since I started going to the center." So I want to ask you this. How are you? Great, since I started going to the Center for Spiritual Living. Yes. There are so many people who want to be here, they just don't know we exist. We had people coming to the fire walk. They said, "I never knew you were here. I saw a poster in the bathroom at Earth Fair. I never knew you were here." And I look around and go, gosh, we've been here for 18 years now, and people still who want to be here, they're our peeps. That's our peeps. They don't know we're here. So the next time someone says, "How are you?" you're going to say, "Great, since I started coming to the Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville." And then they're going to say, "Well, what's that?" And that's your opening. And you can say we're a place that uses the teachings of science of mind to experience our oneness of spirit and create a better world for ourselves and each other. You can pick up one of these handy dandy little pieces of paper John used a few months ago. They're still out on the Welcome Center that say we are a spiritual community that recognizes and a device to where your immune system can't find it. And so your immune system, which is naturally created to attack and kill cancer cells, not a big deal, everybody's got them, we kill them off all the time. But then there gets to be this cloaking device that is called a protein, it's got a long name, and it hides from the immune system. Well, they have come up with literally a pill that removes the protein from the cancer cells so that your immune system can do its good work. It doesn't just affect a certain kind of cancer. It affects every cancer they have put it on. Every cancer. There's an article in the Huffington Post about a study being done at Stanford University. They're moving on to human trials. It will not be long before if someone gets diagnosed with cancer, they take a pill and it uncloaks the cell by removing the protein, and then your body returns itself to the natural state of health and wholeness that was always in there. You always had an immune system ready to do what it was meant to do and bring you back to the state of wholeness that you were always meant to be. Now, how did that happen? Other people will say, well, it just happened. Sooner or later, they were going to find a pill to cure cancer. And I say, no. It happened because of people like Louise Hay and Emma Curtis Hopkins saying there is health and wholeness within you. And then as more and more people realize that just because you get a cancer diagnosis, it's not a death sentence, that people are surviving all the time. We have groups, survival groups of people who have moved through cancer, and now they're fine. It gets in the race consciousness, and it becomes a cultural idea that says cancer is not a death sentence, and so what happens? It manifests on the outside for the entire race by showing up as a medical breakthrough. We did that. We did that. We did that. I went to my daughter-in-law's graduation from medical school maybe over 10 years ago, let's just say that. And the person speaking was talking about in their lifetime what will happen. And they said, without batting an eye, a cure for cancer will happen in your lifetime. You, graduating doctors right now from Eastern Carolina Medical School, a cure for cancer will happen in your lifetime. There is an agreement for that. And so it shows up, and as it shows up, we look at it and we go, well, of course, it makes perfect sense. Well, of course our demonstrations make perfect sense. We live in a sensible universe. But it is our willingness to open up to this idea that there is something greater than the diagnosis, something greater than the x-ray, something greater than what we've been told could or could not happen that allows that to manifest. What's our next step? Okay, we got cancer out of the way. What's our next step? What are we going to do? I say we open up an awareness to the idea that there's enough food for every being on this planet, that every child that is born into loving, welcome arms, that there is peace in this world, and the prime thing that causes war is poverty. So once you remove poverty, you don't have war. Countries that are starving to death are easy targets to be taken over. So I say the next thing that we do as a people is we eradicate hunger. John and I worked for an organization called Results many, many years ago, and at that time 40,000 children were dying every day of preventable causes, most of which was starvation. During our time with that organization, it reduced to 25. That's 15,000 children a day that didn't die. Why? Because a handful of people started wrapping their heads around the idea that there could be a greater level of health and wholeness in this world, and we could start with kids. And all of a sudden, it exploded and things changed. Don't ever deny the power that is within you, your ability to express and your ability to have an idea about what can be. When you look in the mirror, bless your body. Tell your body how strong it is, how wonderful it is, how healthy it is. Frankly, I think that we would all be better off if we were all nudists. Spend some time and bless that body, although I do love clothes. Don't you Spend some time and bless that body. Tell it how healthy it is. Tell your immune system how strong it is. Tell your body how young it is, how filled with vigor and beauty and health and vitality you are, and it will be that way. Look into the body of your affairs. Name it, claim it, know it, grow it. You have a healthy bank account. You have healthy relationships. You have a healthy job, a healthy car. You have a healthy life, because that truth which cannot be denied, that is yours forever, no matter what happens on this plane of existence, is that you have always been, are now, and will always be in absolute perfect health. And so